accomplish goals by giving directions and methods of evaluating, setting timelines, defining roles, and showing how the goals are to be achieved. And so ito yung directive behavior. And then ito yung supportive behavior. Um, dito sa pataas. Ito naman yung help individuals to feel comfortable. So ito yung parang ito yung parang intersection ng managing at leading. Kasi yung directing is more of like very transactional and yung supportive is more of giving support. Okay? So pag pinagsama sila, as you can see here, ayan, ito yung supportive behavior at ito yung directive behavior. Ayan. Low directive and low supportive, high directive yan. Ito yung high behavior. At nakita sila sa different quadrants, S1, S2, S3, and S4. Okay? Um, Teka, check natin tong next slide. Isa-isayin natin sila. Okay, para mas magets natin. Okay. Start tayo sa uh, S1, no? Yung first style. So, makikita nyo dito sa figure na to, ito yung S1. Yan, directing. Okay? So, ito yung first style which is high directive as you can see and then low supportive. Yan. Directing style. So, approach na yan, yung leader nagfo-focus sa communication on goal achievement and spend smaller time using supportive behaviors. So usually yung leader nagbibigay siya ng instruction about what and how goals are to be achieved by the follower and then supervises them carefully. So ganun yung directing. High directive behavior, low supportive behavior. Okay? Nag-make sense ba yan? Sige. As we continue para mas magets natin. Yan. S2, dun lang sa taas niya. To. Yan, yung coaching. Pag gusto natin ng high directive, tapos high din yung supportive coaching yung ginagawa. Ayan. Coaching and high directive, high supportive style. Sa approach na yan, yung leader nagpo-focus sa communication on both achieving the goals and meeting the social emotional needs of the followers. So parang nagki-care din sila for their group members. No? Ang leader ay ini-involve niya yung sarili niya with the followers by giving encouragement, pwede ganyan, or soliciting follower input. Meaning tinatanong kung ano mo dito? Ano bang tingin mo diyan? Yan. Yan. As you can see, yung coaching is an extension of S1 kasi nasa taas siya. And it still requires the leader to make the final decision on what and how of goal, on how the goal will be achieved. So, coaching siya. Coaching yung ginagawa. Yung sa directing, yung sa coaching. Yung third style, which is yung S3, is a supporting approach. No? As you can see here, ito siya. Supporting. High supportive behavior, low directive behavior. Yan. So sa third style, uh, nire-require niya yung leaders, yan. So approach na yan, yung leader hindi lang siya nagfo-focus sa goals, no? Pero mas gumagamit siya ng supporting, no? To bring out the followers skills and para makatulong yung mga followers, yung mga group members. Yan. Usually ang ginagawa ng style na yan ay nakikinig, active listening, yan, praising others, asking for input, yan, giving feedback. So, yung leaders, yung style na yan, binibigyan niya pa rin ng control for the day-to-day decisions, pero mas facilitator siya, no? Facilitator for problem solving. So yun yung third style. Mas ano lang siya, parang nandyan lang siya on the side. Pero may sense of control pa rin as a leader. And then yung last, yung S4. Ayan. Um, Delegating. No. So delegating na lang. From the word itself, delegating, mostly ang ginagawa dyan ay less goal input, no? And social support, mas ano siya, mas hindi na siya involved, no? Usually yun yung mga followers na medyo matagal na, no? Sa company or sa members, no? So dinedelegate mo na lang sila. Sa halimbawa may mga tasks na okay, alam ko na kayang gawin to ni halimbawa si Ana, no? Gagawin to ni Ana dahil nga ano na siya, medyo matagal na siya. So ito yung gagamitin kong method situations in the worst development level. Ayan, delegative style is good for empowered followers na. Ayan, so makikita natin yan dito. Kung kailan natin gagamitin yung delegating. So natatandaan niyo yung mga leadership styles. Ayan, so we have directive. Green for delegating, yellow for supporting, orange for coaching, and red for directing. So yung mga D1 followers muna tayo. So usually ito yung mga low in competence and high in commitment. Usually sila yung mga bago na bagong members or pwedeng bagong employee. Ayan. Usually ang kailangan sa kanila ay directing, no? More on directive behavior. Ayan. And more on supportive behavior. Less in supportive behavior. Directing kasi tuturuan mo lang sila kung yung mga usual thing, yung mga day-to-day operations. Ito yung mga dapat mong gawin. Very direct to the point. Yan. So yung dito followers daw, ito yung mga may some competence but low commitment. Okay, so medyo alam na niya yung gagawin niya pero medyo low siya in commitment. So ngayon ka na magbibigay ngayon ng mga supportive behavior which is yun nga, yung praising, recognition, tuturuan mo sila, nandyan ka sa tabi nila para um, matulungan mo sila sa kanilang mga tasks, kanilang mga work. So that would be your coaching. Ito yung leadership style na gagawin mo if you have D2 followers. Sa mga D3 followers, ito yung mga followers na medyo moderate to high competence, no? And may have a variable commitment, meaning not sure kung parang minsan committed, minsan not. So, high supportive yan. Pero dahil competent enough na sila, low directive. As you can see, ito yung pinaka-ma-effort yung coaching kasi high ka na in directive, high ka pa in supportive. Pero itong supporting, dahil okay na sila in terms of competence level, medyo low ka na sa directive, hindi ka na nagde-direct. Mas ano ka na lang, mas on supporting para mapanatili mo yung kanilang commitment. Okay? And last one is the D4 followers, which is the highest development, no? High degree of competence, high degree in terms of commitment din. Kaya ang binibigay sa kanila ay delegating. So ito nga yung kanina, delegative style is good for empowered followers. Yeah. So ito na yon, yung mga D4, mga highly competent, highly committed. So yun yung ginagawa ng situational leadership. May tanong ba so far? Easy lang siya, no? Okay, so if you're gonna use, for example, situational leadership, you have to identify your followers. Ganun yung approach niya. Identify mo yung followers mo. Ano ba sila? Um, yes. Yeah. So we should know our followers. Yeah, you should know your followers. Yeah, you should know your followers para ma-identify mo kung anong situation meron kayo. And then once you have that, you need to identify the leadership style na gagamitin mo dun sa certain follower na yon para mas maging effective ka as a leader? Ano bang gagawin mo as a leader? Are you more on directing? Are you more on coaching? Are you more on supporting or delegating? I think kapag inisip niyo yan on your context right now, mas maiisip niyo kung ano yung mga possible na pwede niyong gawin, no? Or sa situation. Kasi iba-iba kasi yung behavior ng mga tao eh, no? So usually may mga ganyan talaga. Makakategorize mo sila sa D1, D2, D3, and D4. Categorize them first and then identify kung anong leadership style yung okay na gamitin. Yan. Easy lang siya, di ba? Question so far? Thumbs up if wala nang question. All good. Yeah. Sige. Okay. Move na tayo dito sa last. Yan. Di ba? Ang last natin ay path goal theory. Medyo salungat siya dun sa kanina kasi mas ano siya eh, defined siya by kung ano yung followers mo eh, kung ano yung situation mo. Um, Ito namang path goal theory ay dinevelop on uh, na-develop siya to explain how leaders motivate followers to be productive and satisfied with their work. So ganito yung itsura niya. Ayan. So, meron tayong subordinates. Yan. So, ito yung mga followers natin. Ito, meron tayong goal. Ayan. At ito yung leader natin. Ay, yung leadership natin. Yung goal na yan. Yung path na yan. Path to the goal. Yan. Path, goal, leader. Kaya siya path, goal, leadership. Tapos itong path na to, as a leader, ikaw yung magpe-pave ng way para pumunta dun sa goal na yon. So, you have your subordinates. You have to pave the way para makarating ka dun sa goal. Yan. At syempre, doon sa path na yun ay merong mga certain obstacles, 'di ba? And then doon sa certain obstacles na yun, ito yung mga ginagawa mo. You define the goal, you clarify the path, you remove the obstacles, and then you provide the support. Ayan. So yung path goal theory, ang gusto lang niyang gawin ay kailangan niyo makarating dun sa goal at ito yung mga usual gagawin natin to reach that certain goal. And I will move to the more um, specified framework here. So, parehas lang sila ng term pero explain natin mas deeper later. Tapos may mga follower characteristics which is yung kanina, yung mga D1, D2, D3, D4. Pero may isa pang factor na hindi na-introduce kanina which is yung task characteristics. Ayan. Task characteristics which is yung ginagawa ng mga followers. So ito yung mga factors, may tatlo. As you can see, oh, yan. Yan yung nakaka-motivate, no? So yan yung nagki-clear nung path. Kasi yung motivation, yun yung nag-fuel papunta dun sa goal, which is yung productivity. Okay. Um, Sige, isa-isahin natin yung leader behaviors. Um, let's start with directive. Yeah. So in directive, it characterizes a leader who gives followers instructions about their tasks, including what is expected of them, how it is to be done, and the timeline for when it should be completed. So directive, very direct lang siya. Ano ba yung gagawin natin, no? So ito yung as a leader, ito yung gagawin natin. Very specific, very specific lang ako. For example, gagawa tayo ng marketing project sa isang kliyente natin. So, ang gagawin natin, okay, gawa tayo ng marketing project, ito yung deadline, ito yung mga specific task under the marketing project na gagawin natin. Halimbawa, reach out tayo sa mga influencers, gagawa tayo ng social media ads. So, yun, very direct lang, directive ka lang. Okay? At anong mga expected na gagawin mo, ito yung mga specific mong gagawin. Very similar kanina. So, directive behavior. Supportive behavior is Yan consists of being friendly and approachable as a leader and includes attending to the well-being of the human needs. So, very supportive. Yan. So from the word itself, supportive ka lang. Ayan. Uh, Usually, ano ka, yung you make work pleasant for your followers and then binibigyan mo yung mga followers ng mga ng necessary confidence para mag-succeed sila sa kanilang work. And usually, yung mga supportive leaders sila yung nagtitreat sa kanilang mga followers as equal and give them respect for their status. No? So, parang mga ano sila, parang bagamat ako yung leader mo, pero pantay-pantay tayo. Sige, bigyan ko kayo ng example. Example nito ay mga coordinator volunteers na sa mga volunteers sila no, na na-assign sila sa pagki-clean up ng mga trash and litter after, for example, an outdoor music fest. No? So may mga volunteers na naglilinis. So syempre, para mas mapadali yung kanilang work, ang gagawin mo as a leader ay provide mo sila ng mga snacks, no? Ng mga pampalamig, provide mo sila ng mga plastic bags, no? Or parang bigyan mo sila ng station kung saan mas madali nilang masusort yung mga trash, no? So as a leader, you provide the supportive role para mas mapadali yung tasks nila, making their work more pleasant than it should be. Okay? Okay ba yun? Hindi ako nagbigay ng example pala sa directive, pero isang example nga ng directive ay yung mga instructor natin, mga college instructor natin na usually nagbibigay ng syllabus sa mga students na naka-outline na yung course. O ito yung magagawin natin, ito yung mga babasahin natin, ito na yung deadline ng assignment natin. So, yun yung mga yun yung isang example ng directive. Okay, let's go to participative. Ayan. So, in participative, consists of inviting followers to share in decision making. So, yung participative leader consults with the followers, inaalam yung mga ideas nila and opinions. And definitely, dapat ma-integrate din yung mga voice nila, syempre, doon sa decisions and group, decisions ng organization or ng group. Okay? Sige, example of participative leader ay I'm not sure if you're familiar with like yung sa kitchen, sa chef. Usually, yung head chef yung nag-uutos, di ba, ng mga gagawin, no? Sila din yung nag-identify ng menu. Ano ba yung dapat lutuin, no? Para dun sa restaurant na yon. So usually, para maging participative leader ka as a head chef, pwede kayo magkaroon ng mga regular meeting prior doon uh, sa service, no? If it's like a dinner service, mag-uusap muna kayo, ito yung menu natin, meron ba kayong gustong idagdag or okay ba itong menu natin? Um, Meron pa ba kayong improvement doon sa how we cook this food? Ayan. So, yan yung mga example, yan yung isang example of a participative leader. Uh, Ayan. So, next ay achievement-oriented. Ayan. So, yung achievement-oriented, uh, usually, ano siya yun yung mga leader na china-challenge yung mga followers niya, no? Na mag-perform to the highest level possible. So siya yung nagsiset ng standard na ito yung standard of excellence para magkaroon ng continuous improvement sa organization. Yeah. So in addition to bringing significant expectations for followers, achievement-oriented leaders show high degree of confidence that followers are capable of establishing and accomplishing goals. So, ayun usually yung ginagawa nila, 'di ba? Halimbawa kapag meron kang ginagamit nila dito yung power of of being expert, 'di ba? Or reward power din, no? So, parang parang meron kang nilook up to na leader. Tapos, parang siya yung standard of excellence mo. Okay, so far, dun sa mga leadership, meron ba kayong tanong dun sa directive, supportive, participative, and achievement-oriented? Thumbs up if wala. Clear. Nice. Sige. Um, doon sa unang, next ay yung follower characteristics. Leadership behavior. Next is yung follower characteristics. Ayan. Yung follower characteristics, ano ba yung, di ba may categories tayo, D1, D2, D3. Ganito rin yan. Um, so, follower characteristics, ano ba men? Ano ba yung mga characteristics nila? Kailangan ba nila ng affiliation? Yan. Gusto ba nila ng structure? Gusto ba nila ng sense of control? Meron ba silang self-perceived level of task ability? Same lang din katulad kanina. Ah, so for example, no? Ah, alam mo yung mga followers dyan, directive leadership, 'di ba? Para may sense of structure nila kung ano yung clear path doon sa goal nila, making it less ambiguous. Ayan. So for example, meron no? May dalawa kasing locus of control, may internal and may external locus of control. Yung external naman ay mas inaano mo, mas um mas ano ka dun sa chance, dun sa fate or outside forces, 'di ba? Yun yung mga magdedetermine ng life events mo. So halimbawa pag ganun, kapag internal locus of control, dahil nga ikaw yung mas in charge dun sa events mo, ang usually ginagamit ay participative, 'di ba? Para makapag-share ako ng thoughts ko. Tapos, ito namang external locus of control, usually 'di ba yung mas umaasa sila sa naniniwala sila sa destiny ganyan or bahala na ganyan. Mas gusto nila yung directive, 'di ba? Kasi para mas ma-direct mo sila kung ano ba yung dapat nilang gawin. At may nakita akong tanong dito from Jack, is it true what they say it's not advisable to give a reward just to motivate them? Can you expand on that question? Like, um, what do you mean by not to always pala sabi mo, to always give a reward just to motivate them. Um, sa psychology of learning, hindi talaga advisable yung always. Kasi parang ma-associate niya yung certain reward na yon yun yung magiging ano niya, yun yung magiging motivation niya to work. So kung mawawala yung reward, hindi siya magiging motivated. So that is reward just to motivate them. Um, ayan, so ganun siya. Pero pwede ka mag-set ng certain like goal, 'di ba? Like parang kaya nga pag na-reach mo to, um, pag na-reach mo to, meron kang reward. Pero ano rin kasi yan, 'di ba? Pag hindi mo na-reach, mayroon ding coercive thinking na may negative thing din siya sa'yo. So, in a way, yung quota hindi naman siya reward. Ano siya? Mas both siya na reward and coercive thing. Pero yeah, hindi siya advisable to always give a reward just to motivate people. You have to find actually um, a best way to motivate people. Iba-iba kasi eh. Iba-iba yung motivation levels nila. Yeah, I hope I answered your question. Yeah. Okay. So yun. So yung mga example ng follower characteristics. Ito yung nadagdag kanina dun sa model natin, which is yung task. Yan. Kasi, um, as a follower, may iba't ibang characteristic din yung task. Sobrang hirap ba niya? Ano ba yung design ng follower task na yun? Okay? Meron bang system? May sistema ba sa paggawa ng task? Di ba? Pwede may politics involved, ganyan. Or may primary work group of followers. Okay ba sa'yo yung magiging ka-member mo, for example, when doing that certain task? So, part din yan na nagli-lead to like nagde-drive ng motivation. So, for example, um, in some situation, yung design ng task, nung design ng task ng characteristic, may certain leadership na kailangan i-involve, no? Example, may unclear and ambiguous task, no? So, parang mahirap siyang maintindihan. So, kailangan ng sa leader, kailangan mag-provide ng structure, 'di ba? Meron ding task na repetitive, 'di ba? Kapag repetitive yung task, 'di ba, usually na bumababa yung motivation ng tao. So, kailangan magbigay ng something ulit in terms of like support, no? In terms of leadership. Minsan kanina nasabi yung sa authority, 'di ba? Pag weak yung authority, parang may mga certain leaders na hindi pinaniniwalaan or medyo hindi sinusunod kasi feeling nila weak yung authority ng tao na yun. Or yung mismong setting ay weak, no? In terms of authority, hindi ka susunod. Kasi part yun eh, part yun ng work setting eh. And it's also part of like yung task characteristic. Ah, ayun, ganun siya. Mm, may nagtanong sa akin as a leader, how to handle if mas magaling sa certain task yung tao mo. Usually, nangyayari talaga yan. I have a lot of group members na mas magaling talaga sa akin to do certain tasks. Kasi as a leader, you don't do the tasks naman na eh. You lead them eh. You motivate them. So, hindi hindi siya surprising na makakita ka talaga ng tao na mas magaling sa'yo to do certain tasks. So, recognize them, di ba? As a leader, you recognize them na magaling talaga sila. But, establish a certain authority na even mas magaling sila, you still have the authority to like to do the decision. Kasi ikaw nga yung mas experienced, di ba? Um, it differs in different contexts. So, establish your authority as a leader and recognize their skill if mas magaling sila talaga sa'yo. Um, ayun. Uh, okay. So, meron ako ditong parang table. Ayan. So, yung directive leadership, ito yung follower characteristics. Ayan. Usually, ito yung ginagamit, no? Sa dogmatic authoritarian, pag ambiguous, unclear tasks, and complex directive, no? Supportive, pag unsatisfied yung followers, kailangan na affiliation, need for human tasking, mundane. Feeling ko na-experience din yan ng iba na pag black positive. And then, usually, pag ambiguous, complex. Pero, ah yung follower mo ay may need for control, may need for clarity. Yan. And autonomous din siya, no? Usually, yung may internal locus of control, participative, you involve them. Para Okay, so while we're waiting, if you have questions, I will entertain questions. So that hindi masayang oras natin. Ito, may questions ako nakita. What if you're a leader who prioritizes support, but some team members are disregarding certain rules established to maintain order within the team? What's the best thing to do? Ayan. So usually ito yung mga members na na hindi po nagko-follow ng rules. So you have to identify kung ano yung root bakit hindi na nagko-follow ng rules. Ayaw ba nila yung rule? Meron ba problema dun sa rule na yon? So you have to identify it with them. Identify the problem, bakit hindi nila yan sinusunod. If may problema dun sa rule na yon, you have to um, uh, talk about it with them and identify a solution perhaps para hindi na nila yan gawin um halimbawa kung may problema yung rule na yun, ano ba yung possible solution na pwede nating gawin? Ayan. And then if once you find a solution, you raise it to the leadership. Ayaw nila, ganun. You have to raise it sa human resources na hindi nila yan sinusunod dahil ayaw lang nila for no certain reason. Hindi na yon healthy pag ganun. Pag there's no reason na hindi nila yan sinusunod. Pwede naman nila sabihin na hindi namin sinusunod kasi hindi kami motivated to do it. Ayan. Sige, try natin maging mas specific on this one. Um, Disregarding certain rules na establish na maintain order. Kung mas magiging specific ka dyan, mas matutulungan kita. Anong certain rule ba yung hindi nila sinusunod? Pero yun nga, you have to identify the root bakit. Sige, dito si Joanne sabi niya, if you're the owner of a company, what would I be? A manager or a leader? If you're the owner of a company, okay, ano ka ba, leader ka ba or manager? Depende. Kung meron kang for having a manager and for having a manager, hire a manager, be a leader. Yan. Kasi kapag ikaw yung owner, leader ka talaga. Kasi you create the vision. You have the highest motivation to make it successful eh. Kasi sa'yo yung kumpanya eh. You are the leader. So yeah. Pero if halimbawa wala kang budget for a manager, be a leader, be a manager. Then at the same time. Kasi usually yung mga small business when it starts, kayo talaga lahat eh. So manager ka na, leader ka pa. You lead a small team, you also try to direct them. Like yung parang alam mo yun, ikaw yung magsiset ng rules, ikaw yung magsiset ng standards. At yun yung ginagawa nung manager. You project manage it. Um, yeah, ganun siya. That's right. By identifying the roots, you can tailor response. There are some staff who are lazy and pasaway. Being lazy, what to do? Huh? Ano pa rin yan eh. Meron kayong moments na tinatamad talaga kayo. Bakit pa kayo tinatamad? Ano bang root cause nun? You you have to identify it with them. Pwedeng halimbawa, tinatamad ako kasi feeling ko yung workload ko ay ang dami-dami. Parang feeling ko I'm all over the places. Since all over. Pero yon, pag ganun yung problema nyo, you have to redesign the task. Yan, kasi part din yan kung titignan nyo yung being lazy, yan yung motivation. If it's a path goal theory, you have to identify kung ano ba yung factors na nag-involve nung pagiging pasaway nila. It could be, for example, the leadership behavior. It could be a task characteristic. It could be their characteristic, no? And yeah, so pwede mo tignan yung tatlong yon. Kung gagamitin natin yung path goal theory. What would you be best? I'm not good in relationship. Yes, ikaw lahat. Okay. Ang best talaga ay, for me, if you're running a company, if you have the budget, ang best talaga ay to run it with people. No, na may kasama ka. You cannot do it alone. It's hard to do it alone. Um, Plus, if you have like partners to work your business, like for example, if I establish a business kasi I will consider my employees as partners. Para mas empowered sila, 'di ba? Mas ano sila, mas motivated sila to do the work. Yan. Okay. So, sige, may mga tanong dito. Why do some managers micromanage? Um, May iba't ibang dahilan. First ay pwedeng personality nila yan. Personality nila na tingin nila na hindi magagawa yung work if they don't micromanage. It's pwedeng may problem sila in terms of trust. Na hindi nila trusted yung mga workers nila. That's why they micromanage. I think, 'di ba? Or it could also be uh personality nila na very authoritative sila. Na they want things done their way, no? Definitely micromanagement is not a good characteristic, 'di ba? As managers. Kasi you don't give your followers or your subordinates the right to do things on their own. And if they're just doing it, parang if they're just doing it the way you want it to do, the way you want them to do it, parang mas mahirap siyang ma-achieve, 'di ba? Parang you have to be adaptable kasi kung ano yung characteristic ng followers mo eh. Yung mga micromanager, sila yung mga hindi masyado nag-adapt into situations. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Um, how to build authority as a leader? Yeah. Mostly if you're new to your team. Hmm. Um, Depende sa structure ng depende sa work environment. For example, if it's like there is like an established structure. Usually kapag may pumalit, pag inassign ka sa leader kahit bago ka lang, may sense of authority ka kasi recognize yung position na yon doon sa kultura ng organization na yon. Halimbawa, sa organization na yon, um, merong mga ah, sige, siya yung leader doon sa organization na yan. Ayan. Tas ikaw yung pumalit and you're new to the team. If yung organization na yon established na kailangan sundin yung leader, you don't need to build your authority. Kasi yung organizational culture itself says that uh, au- authority ka kasi leader ka. Pero if the case is not that way, na halimbawa hindi is very established yun or parang tinitingnan ka ng mga tao as newbie ka lang at hindi ka leader, and how you would build your authority, you have to build relationships with your team members. So you have uh, to know them, no? You have to know their motivations, you have to know their characteristics, and then once nalaman mo yung characteristics nila, you'll be able to build more your authority as a leader kasi you will know how to deal with them. Is it a bad thing being too strict as a leader? No. Um, siguro yung too strict as a leader, yes. Pero yung pagiging strict as a leader, not really. Kasi yung mga authoritative, yung mga directive behavior, yan yung mga strict leader. Pero nag-work sila dun sa mga certain follower characteristics na medyo, ano yun, may need for it. Kasi ayaw nila ng mga unclear, ambiguous task. So, you have to be a strict leader kapag may mga certain follower na nangangailangan ng ganong klaseng leader. But not to be too strict. Like parang very authoritative ka na okay, ito lang talaga siya. No? Hindi ka open for negotiation. So, yeah, yun yung sagot doon for me na it's not bad to be strict as a leader kasi may mga nangangailangan ng ganyang klaseng leadership. Okay. Um, Nandito tayo sa susunod na tanong. Um, how to be a good leader? In my situation, less than 5 months pa lang ako sa training and supervisor, but my coworkers are more than 2 years na. Nagsisimula pa lang ang company kaya 7 lang kami. Nag-hesitate ako magsalita minsan since iba-iba sila mag-react. Wala din akong experience sa supervising, so I'm lost in how to deal with situation. More on empathy, ako less ang directing factor. Ah, okay. So Angelo, I think you have to learn how to adapt to certain environment. Um uh Personality wise, mas ano din ako, mas empathic, mas nurturing, hindi ako masyadong directing. Pero in some situations, mahirap na parang ganun ka lang. Kasi nga, hindi naman siya lang. Pero parang ganun yung approach mo always. Kasi you have to really change your leadership behavior and your leadership style to be a good leader. Kasi as I mentioned earlier, 'di ba, leadership is multifaceted. It has many facets at mga kailangan mong gawin. It's not just like, okay, para maging leader ka, ito gagawin mo. Ito lang, wala ka na ibang gagawin. So, hindi siya ganun. You have to adapt. You need to adapt to the situation. Um, you need to adapt kung ano yung mga followers mo or yung mga members mo. So, ganun siya. Um, so, sa Pilipinas, usually, di ba, may sense of, parang kapag mas matagal na siya sa company, parang mas may authority siya. Yes, naintindihan ko yung mga ganong klaseng situation. Pero if you were assigned kasi to be the leader, mas may ano yan, may pinanggagalingan and you have to um you have to establish that na kahit kahit 5 months ka pa lang ganyan, ah may authority ka, diba? Mm, pero yun, you have to be flexible. How to address Peter Principle? Ah, ano yung Peter Principle? Sorry, hindi ako. Okay. The principle that members of hierarchy are promoted until they reach the level at which. So on what context do you want to know more about Peter Principle? So based dito sa nababasa ko, ang Peter Principle ay um may hierarchy, tapos uh are promoted until they reach the level at which they are now. So parang pinromote sila pero hindi sila competent. Tama ba? Tama ba yung pagkakaintindi ko? Okay. So, yan. So, yan. Thank you for letting me know. An employee keeps being promoted until he reaches a level of incompetence. Ah, paano mo ba siya i-address? So I think kapag merong nag-exist na ganun, um, depende yan kung business owner ako at meron ako nakitang ganyan, like may certain Peter principle na nangyari, I have to check kung paano siya nakarating doon sa certain level na yun, yung level of promotion. Meaning merong problem yan doon sa process of promoting. If, yan, so may problem with the process of promotion. So, yun, kailangan nating i-identify ano ba yung, or pwede kang mag-establish ng certain criteria. Bago ka ma-promote, ito yung mga kailangan mong gawin. Para ma-make sure mo na pag nag-reach ka na ng certain ganitong level, no, which is yung may criteria nga on how you will be promoted, may ensure na yung na-promote na tao na yon ay pasado sa mga certain criteria na to at may iwasan natin yung Peter principle. You have to just set standards on the promotion. So, yun. So I think that's how would I address Peter principle. If naman may certain standard na I think very set na yung standard pero napapromote pa rin siya, meron ng problem yan within the system and you can raise it, I think, with the leadership. If the leadership don't care about the system, medyo rotten yung organization when it comes to that. And it won't benefit naman doon sa organization itself. Or if it's a company, it's not beneficial to promote someone that's not really competent. Uh, ayun. So you have to set standards. That's my answer to that. Mm, I hope that answers your question. So Morgan, normal lang maging strict basta fair and transparent. Fair and transparent naman kaso minsan nadi-disregard yung mga policies. Okay, exactly. There are abusive people if you are always empathic and nice. Okay, me too. Alright. So Peter Principle, when an employee keeps promoted until he reaches. Okay. Okay. Meron pa ba kayong question? Um, sige. Wait ako ng mga certain questions. Isip kayo ng questions. Okay. Oh, maganda rin yung suggestion ni Melvin. Adequate training to those individuals may address to this. Pero mas reactive approach na yung training doon sa doon sa halimbawa na promote na siya tapos te-train mo siya. Um, so pero halimbawa may yung company ay meron talaga silang way of continuous improvement, yung training and development part. Okay yan. Yan. How to handle leaders with favoritism? Uh, you have to call them out. Yun lang yung way of doing it. Um, I mean, lahat naman tayo nagpe-play ng favorites pero doesn't mean na nagmamanifest siya dun sa mga actions natin. Pero if nagmamanifest yung favoritism, like parang yun na lang lagi, I think the best way is just to call them out. Anyway, I can find the case study that I have, but I'll send it to you. Um, with the answers then to the question of the case study. Just so parang ito yung magiging supplemental readings niyo about uh, the last part, which is yung path goal theory. Yung case study lang naman na yun is just like a case na nangyari sa isang store. And then may mga certain questions lang on how to deal with that certain kind of situation. So I'm just gonna make it a supplemental reading. I'll send the case study and then I'll send also the answer para meron din kayong basis on how you deal with that certain kind of situation. Yeah, but I'm here to okay, so simple to say but not easy, just saying po. Totoo naman. I agree with that. No, na yung calling them out. It's not really easy. Tama ka dun. Pero wala na akong maisip na better way to do it than calling them out. Um, yeah, it's definitely not easy. Kasi pwedeng nakasalalay yung work mo or pwedeng yung pag-initan kapag hinalout mo sila. Kaya maganda na may suggestion box yung mga company na you can say it at usually may mga evaluation, 'di ba? I-evaluate mo yung leader mo, evaluate mo yung coworkers mo na blind, no? Yan, giving feedback. Yan. Yung parang hindi nila alam kung sino yung nagsabi nun. Usually ginagawa yan sa mga sa mga teachers, 'di ba? Yung mga teachers hindi naman kailangan um hindi kailangan na ah, isulat mo yung pangalan mo para sabihin mo kung ano yung thoughts mo about that teacher. So, yeah. So, speaking of that, magbibigay ka ng feedback form. Just bear with me. So this. Right. So, I will share a feedback form since napag-usapan natin yung feedback. Yeah, yung Johari's window is also nice na to use um, for feedback. Um, Ayan. So let me just see if it's working. Okay. So yun yung feedback form. If wala na kayong question, just fill out the feedback form. And then if may questions kayo regarding, okay, may questions pa dito. What is happening when your senior staff start leaving? What would be the cost? Okay. So itong issue na to ay staff turnover. Pag yung mga senior staff nagli-leave, definitely it's a bad implication sa company. Dahil na-train mo na sila, alam na nila yung gagawin nila, tapos um, aalis sila. Pero syempre, may mga contingency plans yung mga company dyan. Usually, meron na silang mga procedures, di ba? Parang meron silang change management procedure na kapag nag-change yung management, ito yung gagawin natin. So usually yung mga contingency plan. So yung tinatawag change management. Change management procedure. Um, what would be the cost? Yes, but kaya nga siya ano, kaya siya parang crisis management. Um, Depende, no? Pwedeng toxic work culture, pwedeng may better offer. Yan. Mm, Yan, pwedeng toxic nga. Yan. May better offer for greener pasture. Yan, messed up yung processes. Pwedeng ambiguous yung mga tasks, ganyan. Yan. Yan. So, yung mga usual. Yung mga usual. So, o kaya naman, unrecognized, no? So, halimbawa, parang senior na siya, pero parang feel niya, unrecognized pa din siya. Yun. So, may iba't ibang dahilan. Unmet needs. Yan. Nice. So, yan yung mga usual thing. Complete benefits and higher pay. Yan, unrecognized than others. Yeah, yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think meron pa tayong time up until 9. Pero I would just like to let you know na I hope na meron ako na bigyan ng input, no, sa inyo about leadership and management. On leadership in general kasi mas focus tayo on leadership, and yung mga styles on how we deal. I hope I gave something or meron kayong binaon ngayong gabi. Yeah, I'm still welcoming questions if you have questions. How important is meeting the managers or subordinates? How often do you do it? Meeting the managers or subordinates. You mean parang work meeting ganyan? Depending on the approach nung certain project na yun. Pag medyo agile kayo, usually ang ginagawa ay everyday meeting pero 15 minutes lang. So may iba't ibang approaches. So sa agile methodologies, you do some kind of a recap thing every day, 15 minutes. And then yun lang, doon lang kayo nagmi-meet. Tapos meron kayong um, meron kayong uh, end of the week meeting na mag ano, magsa-summarize na nagawa for a week. So ganyan. Depende siya sa kung anong approach. Or pwedeng halimbawa, usually ayaw ng mga tao sa meetings eh. Ako ayoko din ng mga meetings. Um, pero yun nga, usually binibreak down into small pieces para mas digestible, mas hindi nakaka-bore. Yan. Pero halimbawa, pag lagi kayo nagmi-meeting, like 3 hours, na parang sobrang tagal, tapos parang hindi naman productive, hindi yan maganda. Ayan. So, yan. Quickly Scrum meeting daily. Yan yung usually, di ba? 10 to 15 minutes. And a longer time for a weekly task, follow-up updates. Yan. So, yan. Yung mga agile methodology yan, yung Scrum. Um, what is the best way or tools to know if your company is toxic, problem with the organization, or messed up? Ah, ang best way to know if toxic yung company is to gain yung feedback ng mga employee, no? So usually, 'di ba? You have to know their voices. So you have to have more of uh like an avenue where they can raise their concern. If yung concern ay nagma-manifest palagi, so that means it's toxic or messed up. So, yun yung maganda. May avenue dapat yung company na makapagsalita yung yung mga employers niya. Um, na comfortably Minsan kasi 'di ba nga, yun nga nakakatakot mag-raise, 'di ba? Kasi baka pag-initan ka. Pero if you have more of like yung an anonymous raising of concern na pwedeng ma-validate, no? Pinsan kasi pwedeng nanira lang siya, talaga ayaw niya sa company. Ma-validate mo yon if maraming ganong concern. That's how you validate. You triangulate. Sige. Welcoming questions pa if you have. How to handle if there's an employee who seems to be reclamador. To say bad, but the others are okay. Um, Reklamador siya, tas every memo meron siya sinasabi, but the others are okay. Ah, paano ba siya i-handle? So I think okay lang pakinggan mo siya dun sa sinasabi niya. As long as hindi naman siya disruptive. I mean, ba gusto niya lang mag-raise ng ano ba yung reklamo niya, negative ba? Parang sinisira ba niya, gano'n. Pero halimbawa nag-raise lang siya ng point na I think hindi yan maganda kasi ganito. I think okay lang i-welcome yung thought of it and acknowledge it. Pero sabihin mo na I acknowledge your concern, no? Anuhin ko yan parang sa next pag recurring, no, parang pag-recur, halimbawa pag paiba-iba naman siya, or trip niya lang talaga magreklamo, pwede mo naman siya tanungin din, no? Pero acknowledge mo siya sa mga concerns niya. Tapos sabihin mo na i-raise mo yan sa mga next na na activity or kung ano man yung nareklamo niya para hindi na niya mareklamo yung gano'n. I-raise niya sa leadership, gano'n. I-raise mo sa leadership na may ganitong certain concern. No? Acknowledge mo siya, tapos kung okay naman sa iba, edi sabihin mo lang. Pero dahil okay sa iba, as our procedure says, no, ipo-proceed natin to. Yun. Minsan kasi baka gusto niya lang, ano eh, or baka may point naman siya or something. How many meetings should you do, especially if you are on a resto? Usually, pag restaurant, I think it's an everyday meeting, right? Diba? You brief them. Not necessarily you have to have very long meetings. I think if it's a restaurant, you do briefing every day before you open the restaurant. Kasi it's also like like a way to motivate them eh. Pero not necessarily very long. That's for me. Um, Being a leader is being pro-management ba? No, not really. Pwede ka maging leader kahit member ka eh. And yung being a leader is not about just the position. Um, pero yan, tanong mo kung pro-management ba siya? Not necessarily. Pwede kasing leader ka, for example, ng mga karapatan ng mga manggagawa. Ayan. So, halimbawa, mas gusto mong i-feel yung mga unmet needs ng mga employees. Leader ka na. Yeah. Doesn't have to be pro-management if yung management ay hindi naman talaga okay. Yeah, restaurant or food. Is it a behavior problem of an employee? I think ito yung question dito sa reklamador. Possibly, pwede. Pero you have to be empathic then on why, ano yung motivation niya of being a reclamador. You have to know why. I could not tell. Um, m- pero there is a reason why ginagawa niya yan. Does confrontation good in your subordinates when there's a major disagreement between colleagues? Uh, I think yes. Okay yung confrontation. It's part of conflict resolution. Confrontation na na healthy. No? How can you motivate your members if yung mas higher boss o yung higher boss has no career growth plan sa mga members and lagging negative? How can you motivate your members? So parang nasa toxic culture in a way, no? Kasi nga walang growth plan. Um, so I think you have to let them know na yung sasabihin mo sa members mo na you hear their concerns, no? I know that we don't have like career growth plan, no? Pero tutulungan natin yung isa't isa para i-push natin to with the higher ups. Pero syempre, if hindi nakikinig talaga yung higher ups with your concerns and kung ano man yung mga hinaing ninyo, I I know it's easier said than done, pero parang it's better to find another workplace, no? Pero mahirap talaga maghanap ng work, 'di ba? Mahirap, I mean, it's the reality. Pero yun nga, minsan wala talagang choice, 'di ba? Yun. Pero yung question lang naman how you motivate your members. So if you want to motivate them, you just have to be part of them. You have to be with them. Na even though unheard yung voices nila, you hear them. How do you lead people if they are already comfortable with job and doesn't want to grow or move forward with their career? Okay. So maganda tong tanong na to. How do you lead people if they're comfortable with the job? So ito yung part na ano eh, 'di ba? Less motivation pero highly competent na sila. Or medyo competent. So yan yung situation. So ano nga yung gagamitin diyan kapag pag um tawag nito, less yung highly competent pero hindi sila motivated. Um, so gagamit ka ng supporting, 'di ba? You support them. You have to identify um kung bakit hindi sila bakit parang lenient na sila or parang bakit parang ano na sila comfortable na sila with their job and doesn't want to continuously improve. Meron ba dito sa EPC? Ano yung EPC? Ah, di ako ma-promote dahil di ako graduate. Pero ako yung laging nagte-train sa magiging manager ko. Walang tumagal since toxic talaga. Ang awkward lang. Since ako yung nakaalam ng bawat sulok ng department namin, in job tasks, everything. But since di ako grad, no room for promotion daw. Mahal ko yung work ko, mabait yung boss ko. But is it valid na nakaramdam ko yung deserving unfair treatment? Kahit I have the skills, or sadyang wala na akong magawa since di na ako grad. Yeah, it's really like Hazel, unfortunate situation, na nangyayari sa sistema. I think ganyan sa mga government, no, usually meron talaga silang certain standard na um, kailangan meron kang ganitong credentials para umangat ka. Usually, di ba, halimbawa, kailangan mo makapasa sa ganito, kailangan may civil service ka, ganyan. May mga ganyan talaga. Um, and I believe you have the skills, no, to do the work. And you love your work, of course. And I hear you na it's really unfair, di ba? Parang kaya mo naman yung work and kaya mo talaga mag-lead, to yourself na you can do it. Pero may mga system tayo na hindi talaga natin kayang labanan na yan talaga sila eh. Yan talaga yung meron sila. But ang maganda dyan, yung mga ganyang concern, sana nare-raise talaga siya, no? Nare-raise siya sa not within just the organization but as a whole, no? Na may mga ganyang voices na dapat mapakinggan at mag-manifest sa mga companies na hindi lang tumitingin sa diploma or something. Kasi ano eh, 'di ba? Parang sa overseas meron ng thinking na hindi naman na kailangan mag-aral in a way to be successful in life. Pero syempre kailangan yung certain degree, 'di ba? In some certain company. Pero 'yun, may mga company na open with that na hindi mo kailangan ng degree as long as you can do the work. Pero I feel you. Yan. Yep. Okay, it's 9 p.m. So nag-end na yung training natin. And babasahin ko tong last na tanong, how to handle conflict sa kapwa leader mo. If kapwa leader, usually may mediation na nangyayari, you have to raise it sa human resources. Um, Ayan. Or mangyayari yon kapag, syempre, pwede kayo mag-start sa kayo-kayo lang muna, magkwentuhan kayo, or mag-usap kayo, ano problema natin, how to solve it. Pero pag di na-solve, you have to raise it kailangan may mag-mediate. Usually, sa human resource department. Okay. So, yun. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for attending. And yeah, I do hope na meron kayong natutunan from me. And yun lang. Thank you so much. Bye,
Thank you.
everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
sir. See you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you
Thank you,
po. Thank you.
sir.
Thank
Learned a
you.
lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.